right. Good morning. Hi. Nice to see you all. And we'll begin with 3 pull downs, just kind of settling in first, feeling your body coming into the space, into the moment. Feeling the feet underneath you. So you can either take a look at yourself in your camera or glance down to your feet. And we want to make those feet as parallel as possible to the point that they may even be feeling a little pigeon-toed. So we want to watch that tendency, okay? Because that's going to, have an effect on the knees and then the hips and the ankles. So we want to draw the foot in. It's very easy for my right foot to do that. It just kind of pops out. So I have to kind of keep an eye on it. Keep it moving inward. And know that that's your weaker leg. Or, yeah, it's the looser leg. Usually we have got one renegade leg that doesn't want to cooperate with the other. And so just trying to find that position. And then the hips. So notice, so if that's my go-ahead position, I find that I'm leaning on this left hip. So I correct my foot. I still may be leaning on that left hip. So things aren't feeling, so just notice and then center your hips. Try to weight your feet equally. And notice, the pads of your feet, your perfect footprint. Make one footprint the opposite of the other footprint, but they're the same. The big toes make that imprint, the little toes, each of those 4 little toes makes an imprint. There's a little hollowness right up at the base of the toes where it meets the foot. That doesn't show up in the sand. But then the ball of the foot, the outside of the foot, the heel, and the arches. The arches are missing, so we got that cute little footprint. Reminds me of the bathing suit I had when I was a little kid, had all the little footprints on it. And if you're standing on a mat, on a cushy mat, you could walk away and say, oh, good, there's my perfect footprint. Put it back. See if you can find the same little print in underneath your feet. So it's good to kind of start the alignment process from the feet, sometimes from the head. It really kind of depends on where your imbalances are. If there's a lot of forward head and rounded back, this kind of thing, maybe you start with the head. Or maybe you feel heavy in this area one day. Maybe it's not your usual position, but you're feeling heavy and you feel like you're hunched over. So maybe you do start with your head lifting over your spine. So our 10 points of awareness, we kind of run through as when we know what they are, we run through them quickly in our heads. If we're just kind of learning where they are, we need a reminder. I began with the feet today. So let's go up from there. So big toe, little toe, heels, arches draw up, engaging in the inner thighs. The knees soften as the hips fold and sink. The tailbone glides under, but the sits bones stay directly behind your heels, as if the sits bones were going to hook over, like a high bar stool. You're just kind of leaning at the edge of a bar stool. The kidneys press back, so that rounds out that lower back area, opens that up. The shoulders relax. The chest hollows, so the chest isn't, you're not pulling your shoulders forward, but it just kind of drops in and down, relaxing that space. The shoulders are relaxed and the arms float out. And so we're in our water season or water element, winter season. We rotate the palms forward, standing in a river, keeping the shoulders down, the armpits clear. And let the head float up. And we lift the corners of the mouth into an inner smile. So it probably seems like more than 10 points, but kind of get the gist. So then we drop the breath into that lower abdomen as the breath enters the nostrils down through the windpipe, passing through the diaphragm, stomach, intestines, filling the lower jowl or the lower dantian, middle dantian, upper lungs. And exhale as we release out of the upper lungs, middle, lower, lifting the perineum slightly, navel goes back slightly. It's almost like a Kegel. So just paying attention to this 3-part breath. And then we smooth out that 3-part breath, bringing in 4-part breath, box breathing. So it's an inhale for 4 counts. Pause for 4 counts. Exhale for 4 counts. And pause for 4 counts. Inhale for 4. Pause. Don't shut it off though. There's still an expansion happening. And then exhale, releasing the breath. And a pause to release the tension. You can add lifting the tongue on the inhale to the roof of the mouth behind the front teeth. Release the tongue on a pause. And the exhale, drawing the navel back and the perineum up. And pause, feel the release. And we'll go into our nig lung exercises with the next breath. Breathe in through the fingertips to the wrists, to the elbows, to the shoulders, to the heart space. And bring it up the spine, up the neck, to the byway point. And then exhale down and out the fingertips. Then we'll do the feet. Inhale through the tips of the toes to the ankles, then to the knees, then to the hips, right up to Ming Men, or that space between L4, L5, center lower back. And then bring it all the way up to the byway point, top of the head, crown of the head. And then exhale, let it come down and out your feet. Let's do both the feet and the hands together. Inhale through the toes and fingers, to the ankles and wrists, to the elbows and knees, and the hips and shoulders. Bring it to a corresponding point along the spine, and then send that energy up to the body weight point. And then exhale, down the way it came in, out the fingers and toes. We'll do 2 more like that. In, toes and fingers, wrists and elbows, wrists and ankles, elbows, knees, shoulders, hips, body weight point. And then exhale, let it go back out. Palms and feet. So it exits out through the fingertips, but also the labor point at the center of the palm and bottom of the feet, kidney, 1 point. Bubbling well. Yeah, fingers and toes, the wrists and ankles, knees and elbows, shoulders, hips, up through the spine, all the way to that body weight point. Exhale, send it out. So we're going to add on the spiraling idea. So with this next breath, imagine a coil, copper coil wire spiraling around your hands. So just do the hands, bring it around the forearms, the elbows, upper arms, shoulders, across the shoulders to CV7, spiraling all the way up to the body weight point. And then bring it out, unravel it. We're going to do that again with the upper body, just so that you get a chance to feel the difference. Inhale through the fingertips. Spiral that coil around the fingers, hands, the wrists, the elbows, upper arms, the shoulders, spirals into the heart center to CV7. Body weight point. And then exhale, letting it unravel. Notice the direction that it changes. Spiraling out. 1 more, in through the fingertips. Spiraling through the fingers and the hands, the wrists, forearms, elbows, upper arms, shoulders. All the way up to the body weight. And then let it spiral out. Now we do the feet. Inhale, spiraling through the toes, through the feet to the ankles, up the lower leg to the knees, to the upper leg to the hips, that Ming Men point, going up the spine to the body weight point, and then spiral it back and down and out from the spine, down through the hips, down the legs, and all the way up the toes. And you might feel this just happening on its own throughout the whole body. You might be feeling the spiraling happening in the arms as well. And that's okay. We don't have to just keep, because idea is that we're just kind of get used to it. And bring it up, spiral it up, all the way to the body weight. And then bring it out. With your next exhale, feel the spiraling reversing direction maybe. Let it go out your toes. 1 more, in. Spiral through those toes, the feet, the ankles, the lower legs, knees, upper legs, hips, spine, all the way to the body weight point. And let it go. Spiral it out on the exhale. All the way out and down. Now we do both hands and legs, arms and legs. Next inhale, spiral through the fingertips and the toes, the feet and the palms, wrists and ankles, Lower legs, forearms, knees, elbows, upper legs, upper arms, hips, shoulders, up through the spine. By way. And then exhale and let it unravel. Go ahead and do 2 more on your own. Our next inhale, just release the arms. Clear, bring down the heavens. And exhale. 2. And exhale. And 3. And exhale. So we're almost all the way through. The instructions to this you can find if you have the book, which I know Ann and Christine probably have it. I don't see it, I know it's here, but my eyes don't see it today. It's that little Journey to the Sun Zen Wellness book. And if you'd like it, you can text me. I can send you the link to what's on Amazon. I can send you the link to it. But the protocol for this is in the book. And so you can practice along and or just follow the video. So we're through the sipping part, the spiraling part. And if you got warm, and you can just practice through those first 2 parts just to kind of see how much more you feel after after a few rounds and a few days of practice. And then we'll do the packing on Monday. Just really get the whole practice in. All right, so let's just shake out those hands. Little puppy shakes, and then flip it. And then come back to shaking the water off. And then little puppy hands out in front. Flip. And shake. Let's shake it from the elbows out the fingertips and shoulders. Out through the elbows and fingertips. And then add the lower body. And then, so the upper body is now being moved. And the lower body, and shift a little right and left. Back to the center and toss it up. So you may notice that feeling of the rising of the energy when you stop. You know, you're not necessarily breathing in anymore, but the energy rises and you don't really feel like you need to breathe in. It just kind of floats in you. And then it ascends to the top of the breath. And then the release just kind of happens. It's kind of cool when it happens like that. All right, so today I'd like to just kind of run through our kidney and bladder meridians as we do our dredging. So the dredging is kind of clearing out any blockages through the body. And then we'll do, actually let's do tapping first and then dredging. So as I come up the kidney meridian. So the kidney meridian, of course, begins at the bottom of the feet. But then it comes into that space between the ankle and the heel. So let's bring our tapping just between the ankle and the heel, makes a little circle there. And then we come up on those inner thighs and just kind of tapping in and around the knee, coming up through the, kind of right up through the groin area. And we're following this line about 2 inches or so from the midline of your body, coming right up the front of the rib cage, right to, okay, so we're collarbone, the little notches there, makes that little U at the throat, come out along that bone and then drop into there's a little hollow space, about 1 inch out and about 1/2 inch down. You'll feel this little hollow space. And actually the last point is kind of up into that there's a little hole underneath and then that collarbone, and then dropping down into the space is the second to last. And yeah, can I remember? I think it's 29 points. So 28 would be the hollow part. Don't quote me on that. I see my chart there, but I can't see it. So we just kind of rub there and then tapping through the chest. So there's a lot of little points here from the sternum out towards the hollow part of the chest, 1, 1, and 2. Oh, so just kind of tap along. And then as we tap up to the corners of the eyes, to the forehead, and we can tap right along the bladder line. So it's about 1 inch or so away from the midline, bilaterally, coming down the back of the head, down the back of the neck, and then coming down the back of your, so maybe you get to the upper or the mid back area, just tapping down the buttocks, sacrum. So just to the right and left of the sacrum, tapping there, tapping down the buttocks, tapping down the backs of the legs, bladder meridian down the backs of your knees, down the backs of the calves. And as it goes out to the sides of the foot and out the pinky toe, 67 points along that. And so let's come up again, tap up the inner thighs. Tapping up the belly, tapping up right up to that kidney point, then coming up and tapping at the forehead, tapping along the back of the head, back of the neck, bring your arms back behind you, down the lumbar area, buttocks, hamstrings, knees, calves, and on that outside, from the outside ankle to the outside heel, coming out on the outside of the foot, the little pinky toe. And then one more, coming up on the inner part of the legs, kidney meridian again. Right up belly and up to those collarbones. And then you can go again, just kind of, this feels good. It's a good thing to do like in the middle of the day. Kind of wakes you up. Okay, into the corners of the eyes, just up the eyebrows, then over the head, back of the head, down along the back of the neck. Bring it to the back, kidney area, sacral, buttocks, hamstrings. Stay at the back of the knees, maybe for taps, back calves, at the outer part of the ankle heel area, and up your little toe. Good. Now inhale. So we're going to dredge, drawing all the way up underneath the arms. Exhale. Let it go. Good. Now we're going to go up the outside of the arms. So kind of clearing all those yawn meridians outside of the body. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Inhale and exhale as you toss it up. Good. Coming up the inside. Inhale. Cross underneath the arms. Exhale, throw it out. And then coming up on the outside of the head, coming down the outside of the body, dredging down the yawn meridians, pull it out and throw it out. Last one. Inhale, inner thighs, inner body, in meridians, and out. This may also be called, it's almost like you're doing a chi bath. So I've done similar practices where it's kind of like a, yeah, you're kind of bathing the chi through your body. In this practice is called dredging. Kind of makes sense. Feels good, right? Okay, so here we are. Taking the hands down by your side. We're going to do a few horse stance, just run through our horse stance medium frame to begin. Inhale as the arms come up. And exhale, we're going to sink back. Push your kidneys to that back wall, sinking through the hips, knees, big toes down. Then inhale, come back up. Exhale, bring the arms out to the side. Inhale the arms up. Feel them float. Exhale. So we're not bringing the arms down, the arms follow as you sink. Inhale. Exhale. So this is also part of Neigong practice, a different Neigong practice that I've learned. It begins with this. And if we were doing that practice, we do this 8 or 9 times, but we're going to only do one more, because we're going to hold this next one. And now dropping the elbows, rolling the shoulders down. Seat the wrists and press the palms. So my index finger and thumb are open. The other 3 fingers are relaxed. You can see if I get behind it like that. Now breathe in and draw the breath into your low back area, filling a balloon in 6 opposing directions. So we're going out, back, out, side, side, front, top, bottom. And then exhale as we direct the breath right out of the back. Watch that you're not either here and you're not here, but as if you just kind of plant that bowl, pelvis being the bowl, the sits bones being the heavy part of the bowl, and it straightens that spine. So we don't want to over tuck and we don't want to overarch. Find that straight, open spine. Feel the thighs, the femurs, the head of the femurs pulling back into the hip socket. So the thighs are screaming at you, but if you can think about the muscles around, the other muscles that are around the legs, and use drawing those hips back, feel the hamstrings engaged and the thighs engaged, the outer thighs, the hip rotators. Breathe in, breathe out. Next time you inhale, breathe in, rise. And exhale, float. And catch your breath a little bit. So we have medium frame, small frame, large frame. Small frame is with our feet right under our hip center, the center eye of your hip. Line up with the center part of the knee and lines up just between the second and third toe. So we'll do a Taoist horse stance on this one. So we'll stack our hands. So your right hand is going to be opposite of mine. Right hand is going to be on the top. All four of your fingers are pulled together, the thumb drops. Then my right hand or left hand is going to go underneath, and my pinky is going to go into that space of the thumb, between the thumb and first finger. Then I'm going to close the thumbs, close all the hands, so I have my hands stacked like this, like a little gate, okay? So I'm going to bring that into the heart, drop the shoulders. Inhale. And exhale as you push back and push forward at the same time. Your hips go back, your arms go forward, shoulders stay dropped down, elbows kind of rotate down and out and down. And inhale as you come back up, pulling those hands back to the heart space. Exhale as it goes back out into our Taoist horse stance. Inhale, hold. Exhale, hold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sink. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to rise. Exhale to sink. This one will hold it. Inhale. Feel that 6 directions of opposing force as we inhale, everything going out in opposite directions. Exhale, everything pulling in to one point, out the kidneys. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. Smile. In. Keep those big toes pushing down. Should be able to see the tips of the toes. And out. And inhale to rise, pull those hands in. Exhale to release. Deep breath. So your heart's racing, getting warm, maybe breaking a little bit of sweat. Shouldn't be pouring off sweat, but a little bit damp to the touch. And then take the toes out, heels out. So we're back into medium width. Let's go into large width or double wide, shoulder width apart. Or maybe shoulder width and a half apart. Okay, so here we want to also keep that alignment going with the knees, you know, kind of right between that kneecap area, pointing more or less between the second and third toe. And those heels push out, the toes pull in, okay? Trying to get that. Here's another, so this is also a spiraling. So everything goes into, all our practices move towards a form called Bagua. And Bagua is the advanced form in this lineage. So it's all spiraling movements. And so everything that we end up getting deeper into, we get deeper into the spiraling effect. So those feet spiraling down, they really create, it creates this really strong root so that your feet keep you connected to the earth, because we are in physical form, but allows for this separation. Not a separation, I shouldn't say that, but a lifting, a releasing of this upper, more yang part of the body to experience pure consciousness. But if we're not rooted, sometimes we can, and probably all know people like this, that get so, that they get untethered. And it's, you know, too much, and they're not rooted or grounded. So we kind of want to find our space in between that. So really feeling how this, you know, I can already feel this. I don't have to do anything other than just stand here and hold a posture. Talked about this a few weeks ago. So we could hold the golden chi ball. Yeah, it's the water season, but we could still hold golden chi ball. We could hold, you know, standing in a river. It doesn't really matter. It just whatever's comfortable for you. So if this makes your shoulders feel tight, you know, come into here. If this makes your shoulders feel tight, you know, just kind of, you'll find you can come into here. Yeah, that might be. But whatever it is that you choose to do with your arms, you're really feeling this rooting. And this position, we should be able to hold for a lot longer period of time. When we're doing the horse stances, they're meant to be challenging. They're not meant to be a stance to hold for 20 minutes. It's meant to be more of a, you give it your all and be able to sustain it for 3 minutes. That's it. So in this position, I might be able to get here. Actually, when I'm doing the horse stand in this position, a wide horse stance, I do the prayer hands and I sink. And so I go to the point where it's really going to challenge me. And after 3 minutes, I'm going to give it up. Okay, so we did the other two, but let's come back to this. Just this modified horse stance. And this is a standing meditation that's very effective to releasing and realignment of your lower back, hips, sciatic issues. It's the best thing I've ever done to release sciatica for a long period of time. And so that I have not gotten it, you know, it creeps up every once in a while, sure, but if I go back to this, I can usually correct it within a few minutes. I don't have to stay here for 45 minutes. The first time I did, I did stay here for 45 minutes. And after about 20 minutes, you're sweating and you're shaking and you're just, everything inside of you wants to stop. And then you take a breath and you go deeper. And then all of a sudden it opens up. So as I'm talking to you, anybody shaking yet? If not, you may go a little deeper, you know, but you don't want to also, you know, kind of find that place where it's challenging but doable and not like a walk in the woods, maybe. There's saying for this, you're burning out the anxiety, burning out the the trauma or the agitation, burning out the mind. So if the mind keeps looping and you can't stop it from looping, instead of sitting and trying to do it through seated meditation, this will burn it out. You'll stop thinking about whatever it is you're thinking about and just get into your body and say, oh my God. And then eventually you let it go. And then you let go of the thoughts too. All right, so we'll come out of this. Now this is the way we're going to come out of it. Don't just stand up and bring your feet together. Stay in this position and let's turn the heels in. Turn the toes in. Turn the heels in. Turn the toes in. Turn the heels and turn the toes. And so if you're working, if you're dealing with some sciatica, you could do that little thing a couple of times. And then go back in. And we'll shake it out. Okay, so let's clear. Inhale and exhale. Let's just get my timepiece. I need a clock here. All right, so let's spend the next 15-20 minutes running through our 8 vessels. So we'll go through the first couple. We've been going through them. So let's start with the feet together. Take a breath. Inhale to clear. Exhale, set. In. Out. In. And set. Take your left foot, step it out, shoulder width apart. Hands face the front, sink. Inhale, first movement in Tai Chi. Circle the ball. Or roll the ball. Set. Inhale, hands embrace heart. Shift to your right. Your right. Turn your left foot in, hip. Keep that knee pointing straight ahead. Toe, hip, and knee face the screen. Waist turns, push back into the left heel, stretching the calf, and feel that alignment. So the hands are reflecting your chest, space between the fingers, reflect the sternum, the fingers reflect the ribs. We're feeling this in the outer part of the quad, middle to outer part of the quad. Probably also outer part of the ankle peroneal muscles. Keeping that big toe down, ball of the foot, arches pulling up, inner thigh of that right leg, right into the top of the hamstrings maybe. Take a breath. Then inhale, lift that heel. Rotate back to the front of the room. Exhale as you sink back into our horse stance. Inhale to shift to the left. Now this might feel very different. So as I'm shifting to the left side, I want to align this hip, make sure it didn't go out. I saw mine go out a little bit. So watch that your hips don't, because this is sinking. It's like a one-legged squat. Okay, if we were go back to the gym days, if anybody had those gym days where you practiced your one-legged squat, here it is. And then you rotate and press. So turning it that way. So you want to feel the waist turn independently of those hips. Okay, so your left hip, center of the hip, center of the knee, center of your toes faces the screen. You push down into that right heel. Feeling that line from the heel, up the leg, up the side of the body, and around the ear. Breathe in. Remember that our fingers reflect the ribs. Good, nice deep breaths back and forth. Inhale through the feet, exhale through the hands. Inhale through the hands, exhale through the feet. Now taking the left hand, we're going to bring the left hand up. Right hand is down. Yin yang, so the fingers dive down of the left hand, right fingers rise up. Left hand drops down by your hip. Right hand rises up over the crown. Lift up that foot. Sorry, just lift up the heel. And then drop the knee underneath your left thigh. So kind of wrap it in, and we're twisting to the back. So my shoulders rotate, my rib cage is rotating, waist is rotating to the left, but my hips are now rotating and kind of rolling into the other way. So feeling, this is separating heaven and earth. Breathe in, breathe out. So belt vessel primarily, breathe in, and thrusting vessel. So we feel that thrusting vessel moving up and down through the center of the body. Inhale and exhale. Then rise on the next inhale, yin yang arms. It's going to bring us to the other side as we release the left foot, left heel. Sink back into your one-legged squat position. Pivot on the left toes, drawing the left thigh underneath your right thigh. Right knee, right toes still face the screen. Twisting at the waist, rib cage, shoulders looking behind me. So my whole spine is twisting. So there's your belt vessel going all the way up through your chakras. And then your thrusting vessel straight up. So left hand is now over the crown of the head. Right hand is pressing at the earth below your buttocks. Make sure the hips are aligned and the shoulders are aligned. They're staying in the same horizontal plane as the floor is. So no tilting, no dropping one hip or the other. Keep it even. See if you can just notice where your body is in the space. And then on your next inhale, come out of that, turning your toes inward into Ba. So in Ba, the hips, starting at the hips, in. Knees follow, toes follow. We can never do this with the hips rotating out. And depending on the health of your joints, health in your knees, you could be here. You know, if there's no problem, then you're sinking. Remember, this is a sink. Yeah, the tendency of the back is to be arched. But we do want to kind of hold this tailbone under. So on the inhale, rolling the shoulders back and twisting at those arms. Then exhale, we're going to rotate in, hollow the chest, hug a tree, like a really big tree. Inhale, pull it apart, press, you're looking up, stretching through the front and the back though. We're kind of lifting, exhale, rounding through the back. Pulling up and in. Inhale. Open that conception vessel. Exhale, opening the governing vessel. Remember the idea, inhale, so keep going through this. The idea of the double layered balloon. And as you blow up the balloon, you're blowing it out from the inside. So this hollow part is really active as much as the outer part. In. So come out. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. and exhale. Good. And then just release one foot at a time and clear. Exhale. So this next part, I'm going to do to the side view. I think we can best practice this twist like a rope, flipping back and forth with the side view. That way you don't have, you can still see the screen. So twist like a rope. We're going to shift. So we're all facing this way. I don't know if I can do this. Yeah. Okay. So face your left wall. I can do this. Shift to your left leg. So your right arm's facing the screen, right? Right arm is facing the screen. Yes. Okay. Shift your weight to the left, and you're going to rotate your right arm overhead with the right foot turning out. So this is a Tai Chi kind of movement, but we're not going to move. So we're just rotating that out. Now, as I shift my weight to that right foot, I'm trying to get it is, so the 180-degree turn, right, is from Ba in. So now I'm pointing to the left corner, back corner of the room, to the right corner of the room, to actually that right wall. Okay. So now I take the weight, put the, knees, they have to be bent. I'm going to lower the foot, follow the weight. Okay. Now I've weighted this right foot. I'm going to release the left. Now, as I release the left heel, I'm going to pivot on the top, on the ball of the foot and come all the way around and scoop. Okay. So now I'm holding this ball with this cross stance. Left heel is up, shoulders are level, and I'm looking at that right wall. I'm holding this ball with my left hand just below the navel, right hand just at the center of the chest. And then I'm going to unravel. So I'm going to come out the way I came in. So now my left arm's going to come out of it. Right hand goes back. Shift to the right side. Open, the left hand stays up. As I shift to the left foot, I lift the left heel, or right heel, sorry, right foot, right heel, and close. Okay, so now I'm looking at the right wall. Who's not looking at the right wall? I know I messed it up. I'm sorry. Right wall, we're looking at the right wall. The left leg's in front, the right leg's in back. So whatever leg's in front, the left arm's on top. Right arm's on the bottom. Okay, so let's come out of that the way I came into it. Now that right arm's going to rise as I rotate ball of the foot, coming back, looking at the left wall, bring the left leg in, ba, shift, turn it out, keep that right arm up, right foot turned out to the right wall, shift to that right foot, lift the left foot, scoop with the left, hold the ball. Maybe you can get a little low. Come back out of it. And the way you came into it, the left arm is rising, right foot takes it, shift back to the right, the left hand stays up. As I shift back to the left foot, scoop with the right, hold the ball. Yeah, now we're all facing the right wall, I hope. Okay, again, let's go back the way we came in. Pivot out, scoop, shift, pivot, and we're holding the ball with the right hand on top. And back, 1, 2, turn the foot, 3, shift the weight, 4, turn the foot, 5, shift the weight, 6, scoop the ball, sink. 7 and 8. I could do this 8 side. Okay, so weight goes to that front leg as I pivot. Goes to your right leg as then you pivot the left. Then I shift back to the left, pivot out the right, right stays up, left scoops the ball. Okay, so that you could practice this going back and forth and sink. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. It kind of starts to happen all together because you can't move this arm, right? Think about the arm and the leg moving. The arm moves opens and clears the way. The arm opens, clears the way. Open, clear the way. Open. Open. So the arm that opens is the one that stays on top, scooping at the last minute when you come back. Okay. How'd we do? Any questions? Oh, Christine's all like, I got it. Everybody's good. Yay. Okay. All right. And Annie's got it too. That's awesome. Okay. So I think that's the hardest, especially when we, as we age, our hips get tighter and tighter. Whatever. What comes next? Good question. Okay. Feet are hip width apart. Cat gaze is at the half moon, going into half moon, crescent moon, sorry, crescent moon, half moon, crescent moon, a little less than crescent, or a little less than half. Sink. Okay, we're gonna make a little triangle with the hands. Pull the hands up over the head. Rotate to your left. Fold to that left. So flat back, circle through. Now weighting the right, come off that left foot, okay? Stay off the left foot. You bring the triangle over the right shoulder. Now I'm going to push from the left side of the waist out to the right. And it's like one of my visuals when I first started this was Atlas holding the world. So we could stay here with the toe down. Keep your shoulder rolling back, keep your hip rolling back. Now, sink both knees, weight still stays all on the right foot. You can stay here, this is perfectly fine, but if you have the strength and flexibility, flex and open. So the hand on top opens this front side body all the way through the armpits, stretching, anchoring into the heel. This hand, right hand, is over your forehead. Left hand's under your chin, okay? So take your left hand, notice, your little L here. Remember the L thing? Open, this comes in line with your chin. This is just over your eyebrows, okay? Now come back, shift your foot, rotate to the right, fold to the right, rotate to the left, follow the line, reaching over to the left wall, stay up over the left shoulder, stretch, stretch, stretch. My right side's empty. Okay, now I'm starting to rotate so you can see my chest. I should be able to see your chest. Yeah, there you go. And now pull back on that right side to stretch the left, bringing that hand over your forehead. So now my ear is over here. Fingertips, so I'm looking through this little window. Now you can make sure that hip isn't flying away. You want to keep it back and underneath. in line. So our sit bone goes back, supporting us. Eye of the hip and the eye of the heel. Okay, now we can stay with the toe pointed down. If you have the flexibility or the strength, sink a little deeper and open a little bit more. Good. So it looks like this. 1, 2, 3. Up. 1, 2, 3. Woo. Okay. All right, let's cool it down. I'm gonna take little circles of the hips. So it's a little clock, hip circle. Over the clock. So it's a very subtle clock. It's only like a 8-inch. So we're kind of circling around that 8-inch plate that sits between our feet. Just letting the pelvis rotate in a very nice, easy around the wingman. And then as we finish this last rotation, rotate the other direction. If you want to bring in the breathing that goes with this, when you round, when you tuck the tailbone, that's the exhale. When you tilt the spine, that's the inhale. And you can feel how it, the inhale floats into the navel, tilting the navel forward as the hips go back. And as the navel gets brought back in, it's just a natural exhale. Oh. Now we'll clear in and out. 2. And out. And 3. Palms together. And if you have the time for seated meditations, this is perfect time to do so. You've flushed out a lot of thoughts through that sweat. Enjoy the day and happiest of New Year's to us all. See you next year.